If you buy Fruit Loops in our country, they're loaded with food dyes.
Back when we were growing up, cereal was simple.
Yeah.
It had whole grains, real ingredients, but something changed. Take Fruit Loops, for example. In the U.S., they're loaded with artificial dyes like red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1. But in other countries, they use real fruit and vegetable extracts. Blueberries, carrots, watermelon, same brand, same product, but completely different ingredients. So why does the U.S. version look like this and the Canadian version look like this? Red 40 and yellow 5 are banned in many other countries, but in the U.S., they're everywhere. And they don't just color your cereal, they can disrupt your gut and lead to all kinds of digestive.
Listen, if the people in your country are what make the company, which America is a company, thrive, why would you do some things that are so detrimental to their brain, to their livelihood, to their life existence as a whole? It just doesn't make sense. Something isn't adding up. So I'm loving the fact that RFK is applying pressure to these entities that have been doing the American people a disservice for so many years. It has me to the point where I'm always looking at ingredients, and I don't understand all of the ingredients and some of the labels and some of the words and things you can't pronounce. But I'm learning. And as I learn, I say, hold on, this ain't good. I can sense it. My third eye is opening up to a point where I'm like, hold on, I can feel when something ain't good or right for me. I can tell when something got aspartame in it. I can tell when something got high fructose corn syrup in it. Even if they lie and change something on the label and act as though it's not in there, I can usually sense it and tell. And my kids are starting to pay attention to it because one of my sons being diagnosed with autism increased my awareness of certain things and made me pay attention to things a little bit more in depth. So the fact that this is being highlighted in a way that this is having to be changed because pressure is being applied and lawsuits are on the horizon, have been on the horizon, and now more people are getting more conscious and it's a great awakening taking place. This is a great thing. So RFK, he was doing this type of work for a long time, but it's bigger than just RFK. Each individual has to start making that change, has to start not patronizing these products, because what happens is supply and demand. If they know that people are more aware that items or products that have MSG should not be purchased, then that shit will stay on the shelves. And when that stays on the shelves, then they realize, hold on, this ain't selling. And they try to get creative and they'll collab with other brands that are still selling, but you got to be smart. Prime example, Lay's. Not that chips is the best in any stretch. However, a lot of Lay's chips don't have MSG. Am I saying they're perfect? No, but they don't usually have MSG. But Doritos and Ruffles typically have MSG. Well, you'll notice that sometimes you'll see Funyuns collabing with Lay's, Doritos and other entities collabing with Lay's. Not that they weren't already behind the scenes collabing, but they'll literally do a collab, and now a person who's conscious might still buy the Lay's and think it's all good. No, they have that MSG that they brought over from that other brand into this, and if you're aware, you can tell that it's in there. And this is no different than other things. They see that things ain't selling, so you'll see them incorporating cereal and other stuff, cereal and ice cream, cereal and candy bars and all these different things, because the sales are drying up somewhere else. Supply and demand. So that's why we have to be, as individuals, more prone to understanding what's going on so we can make real change in our household, and that trickle down domino effect causes people to understand how their power lies in what they do and do not buy, what they do and do not consume. Because consumerism is what leads to their profits. And when you hit them in their pockets, you affect their profits. And you're not doing it just for that. You're doing it because it's right for you, right for your body. But when you do it when it's right for what's right for you and right for their body, either they got to get right or get left. Or you deal with some entities that don't do that, because they can easily try to switch the game up and say, we're using better ingredients. No, don't try to do it now. But we already been working with or dealing with entities that are rightfully putting good ingredients in their food. And then it also always takes you back to nature. When you go back to nature, the right nature, because they all, entities are trying to mess with nature as well. But when you go back to nature, where there's no labels, no nutrition facts, and you're eating directly from the Most High, then that's one of the best ways that you can eat, if not the best way. Now, everything in moderation, but pay attention to what's going on so you can change in your household for yourself, and the trickle down effect has to take place. It's already happening. Mr. Smith, CincoSmith, signing out.
I am a magnet. I am a money magnet. If I want it, I can have it. Imagination with some action. Law of attraction. I attract positive people, and positive people somehow be attracted to me. But I feed off of negative energy. Negative energy give me the power I need. Peace. You were never born to be mediocre. Worldwide well, tell me why you thinking local. You're a greatness in the making. Amazing grace, somebody bringing the vocals. Look, you were never born to settle when the world needs you right now more than ever. Just know that I'm God sent, bringing knowledge and hot spit. Somebody better go warn the devil. Hello.